Hi, today we are going to do a In the Hoop US flag purse. First, get your hoop and then hoop your stabilizer, either tear away or cut away. Once you've hooped your stabilizer, put it on the machine and stitch the placement stitch for your bag. After that has stitched, you are going to take your zipper and center it between the two lines here and tape in place. Once your zipper's taped in place, send over to the machine for the tack down stitch. Once the zipper's tacked down, you'll be putting your vinyl or fabric. I'm using vinyl, and this purse uses red vinyl because the only embroidery stitching that's going to show are the white stripes, white star, and the blue outline for the background behind the stars. So, first of all, I'm going to use vinyl, and I will line the vinyl right up against my zipper. If you are using full fabric, you will line the folded edge up against the zipper. Okay, so I will line this up, send it over to my machine, and tack it down. Okay, once the bottom front of the bag is tacked down, you'll do the same for the top. Line my vinyl right up against there, or your fabric folded, and send it over the machine and tack it down. Right from here, it will stitch the placement stitch for your star background. The placement stitch for the star background has stitched. Now I'm going to cover it with my vinyl, tack it down, trim it, and then it will do the stripes, the white stripes, and the stars. Okay, I've tacked down the blue fabric or vinyl for my stars. Now it will stitch the stars and the stripes. Okay, now the design has stitched and I am going to do a lining. So we're going to turn the hoop over, and I'm also going to do the pocket inside with the lining. Okay, for the inside lining, we are going to take our piece of fabric that we've already cut, and just above the zipper line there, we're going to line it up. Now remember, there was an extra 1 inch here that should be overhanging the bottom because we're going to use that when we turn it right side out. So this is the back lining. Now I want the pocket, inside pocket. So I have my fabric cut and pressed in half, and I'm going to put that just below. There's not really a right or a wrong. It can't go above, obviously, and it can't go way down here because that'd be just crazy. So I'm just going to put mine right about there. Tape in place, send it to the machine, stitch. Okay, it has tacked down my bottom lining. We're going to turn it over, and we are going to do the same with the top. We are going to tape it in place just below that zipper stitch line, so there's a gap like that. Tape it in place, send it over to the machine, stitch it down. Okay, now it's tacked down my lining, as you can see. And remember, this lining on the inside front goes face up. Okay, the fabric does. There's my pocket that's going to be on the inside. And after it tacked that down, it stitched the placement stitches for my pocket or my handle straps. So those I'm going to tape in place like this, and I always make sure my hardware is out of the way of the outer stitch line. Tape them both in place like so. Make sure they're the right same distance apart and the same length. Make sure my vinyl isn't overlap or outside each other. Kind of do the visual. There you go. Take it over to the machine, tack it down. Okay, it has tacked down my straps. I'm going to remove my sticky tape here from up there. Okay. Now, I'm going to have an outside back pocket. So, I need to put my tab that I'll have my snap tab attached to. I need to have this in place. Wait, before we forget, let's unzip our zipper. Very important to do that, because if you forget, you're pretty much in trouble and you have to take it all out. Make sure the zipper tab does not get in line of that. Make sure your hardware here does not get in the outer line as well. Okay, Now I will tape this. I have a center mark right there so I know where to tape that in place. I'll cut it the size I want after I do it. You know, after I complete the purse. Okay, so my pocket will go face down. Make sure it's below that, and it can be as long as it's smaller than the outside line. It can go, you know, up to there, but mine is going to be just below there. So I'm going to put that there. That's my pocket, okay? And I have vinyl. If it was fabric, it'd be folded in half, and if it has direction, the fabric facing you after the fold would be upside down here. So I'm going to put that in place right here. I'm going to put it under these little tabs so I can kind of eyeball it. Okay, make sure it's below my final stitch line there. Yep. And I'm going to take my back fabric, and it goes face down over all of that. Okay, face down, and send it over to the machine, stitch it. Well, as you can see, I didn't do the best job in centering my vinyl here. Hopefully you'll do a little better. I paid attention to the bottom, but didn't really look up at the top. But it'll work. All right, so now I remove all my tape too now. Now you're going to do the back lining. So you're going to turn it over. There's your back. Remove all my sticky tape that's back here holding stuff in place. Okay, and we're going to take our our lining, and it is going to go over the back. And once again, the extra inch is definitely of the lining. It has to be down here at the bottom. Okay, tape it in place, take it to the machine, and stitch the final stitch. Okay, and this stitch will only go part way around. That way we can turn it inside out. No, right side out. Okay, there we have it. It's all stitched. Turn over. I'm going to remove my tape. Take it out of the hoop. Trim it. I'll be right back. Now before you trim, you need to make note. Trim the sides and the top. Don't trim the bottom until last, okay? There we go. Okay, so now we're going to fold back our lining, and then we're just going to trim the fabric underneath. We don't want to cut the lining, okay? There we go. Now trim your lining, cut it at an angle up to that opening there. Cut this off. Same over here. Cut this off. There. Now, this is where I like to round my corners here. Okay. Now, see the opening here for the lining? This is where you're going to turn it inside out, right side out first. And be careful you don't rip the stitches. You know, it's going to be a little tight. You know, but use your thumb and your finger to push them through, you know, easily. And be gentle, my pet. Okay. You'll know once it starts getting it, because it'll all start going very easy like that. See? And that's just the lining in right side out part, okay? So we're going to turn it again in a second. Okay. And go up with your finger and thumb and push your corners out as such. Here too, I use a handle of my paintbrush here to push my corners out. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I have all my corners pushed out best I can for now. Now we're going to tuck all this in, the lining in and there, and you'll see there's a stitch line. Now I like to glue, not stitch mine, so you can see where the fold would go inside, where the fabric, the lining would go inside each other. Now I just hold it like that, and then I take my glue and I run it down, and then I use my Wonder Clips to hold it in place. Okay, while this is drying, I take this opportunity to clean out my zipper area. You may have used tearaway. I opt to use cutaway because it gives my purse more stability. So I take and I make a little cut there on my stabilizer. And then I just use my applique scissors. Whoops. I try to use my applique scissors. And I just run it down the inside of that. Fold up that to make sure I don't catch my fabric. Get to the end. Use my little scissors and cut the end all the way down. Put the end here. And then I go back up with my applique scissors the other way. Okay. Just like so. There we go. And just clean it up the best you can. It is the inside purse, but still, you still want it nice and pretty. Okay, there we go. And then I reach in and I unzip the zipper the rest of the way so it doesn't split open on me when I'm trying to turn it inside out or right side out. God, I can't say that right. Now I pop out my top first is what I pop out first. There we go. And take my Wonder Clips off. And turn the rest off inside through the zipper. Okay? Make sure you're between if you put a pocket, the back pocket, and you see the inside. Don't try flipping it around in there because you'll ruin your purse. Nope, you're going to flip it between right there where you can see your stitching for your purse. Okay? Be right back. Okay, I got it all turned right side out. There's my lining, and there's my extra little pocket, my zipper. I'll put a tag on that. There you go, like that. There's my purse handle. Here's my tab for my snap cam to go on the back. There's my back pocket. That'll hold my phone, you know, make it easier to access it. Okay, let me go get my snap tabs. Be right back. So remember earlier I said I'll cut this later. I like to double this so it has a stronger little tab, you know, before I put my cam snap or my snap, whatever you're going to use. So I'm going to cut mine right about here, I think. Fold this in half as such. Yep, and I'll trim off the back part in a minute. And I'm going to make my mark here, and that way I have about a 1/2 inch of grab here. Okay, just a second. Let me just show you something. When you're ready to put your other snap on, if you press really hard there, it'll indent if you used vinyl, and then you'll know exactly where to put your little hole for the other side of your snap. Okay, there we go. put my handle on it. I put my pull tab for my zipper. Here's the inside with a little separator, front and back. Here's the back with my snap. There's my pocket under my back. And there you go.